Oh, I haven't got a good one. I know half of it. I know half of it. I need to give you a good one and a bad one. I know the bad one. All right. Okay. So would you rather a number one Zion or front row seats next to Drake at a Toronto Raptors game? And you get to meet the players as well. But to have access to that real life utility, you had to have stacked 100 Aaron Baines Toronto moments. Hey guys, welcome to another episode. In this one, it's really special. We've got LG Doucet joining us. He's going to talk about the First Mint podcast, how he started, his NFT launch, the First Mint Fest event coming up, and the draft experience that just dropped while we were filming from NBA Top Shot. All of that and more. Let's get straight into it. All right, LG, how we doing?
I'm feeling it, man. You know, we were just... I'm done tweeting. Yeah, we had to delay recording this because I had to get this. We just saw this draft experience drop, which, you know, Friday afternoon is the perfect time to drop big news in the Top Shot world. It happens a lot, actually. I actually find that Friday afternoons / Saturday mornings for a long time in the winter or summer, maybe in your end, was like prime time. It was like Saturday mornings, like shit was going to go down every time. Stuff was going to go down every time. Saturday morning.
Whatever.
So
no, it's fine. I'll say shit so you don't feel like alone in swearing on the channel. Are you the first to no TST swore on the channel as well before I did.
There you go.
So yeah, we just got dropped and we had to let you tweet about it to begin with, didn't we?
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, the tweets are very important. People need to know as soon as possible what's happening.
Do you have any quick takes on this one? Like we didn't think that was going to be another fan in real life experience straight away, eh?
That makes me feel like I don't even know what would happen. I don't even know what the other events are between now and the new season, like the Olympics. You know, Jacob already talked today that those are off limits, but I would think that
Summer
like maybe
League might be a good one.
Yeah, Summer League, I believe, is something that they would whip up because I feel like all of these events, like draft, Summer League, or whatever, are going to be way easier to send people to than a finals game. Right?
Yeah.
Like that's like, and I talked about this on our podcast the other day, that it's like sending like people to a suite of a finals game. Like that's like the pinnacle. Like that is like the hardest, most expensive thing to do. So sending people to draft, Summer League, giving them tickets to like a season opener, like that's like easy, man. So this is cool. I like this. I love anything that's like an experience provided by some kind of NFT crypto thing. So, I don't know if this will be as poppin', let's say, as a finals game, but it's pretty cool. Steve, would you? Let's say there was no COVID or restrictions. Would you go if selected?
I think have to. Yeah.
Okay.
I've said a number of times that I don't know how. I've never been to America. I almost went once, and that was before the last financial crisis in like 2008.
Oh, yeah.
But I went to Britain instead because I would have lost money just by going there, just by the financial state of things. So I've never been to the NBA game. As many games as I've watched, as many DVDs as I've never been to an NBA game, which sounds probably weird in itself in the space that I'm in. But I have a feeling that Top Shot's going to have something to do with my first in real life NBA experience. Don't know how, don't know when, not expecting anything, but it's just a feeling I have. And yeah, if you won, I would 100%, if I could go, you know, family permitting and all that. Yeah. Even if it's a draft, whatever, like, you know, if you get the number one pick, if you met one of these picks and they turned, even if they're number 15 or second round and they turned out to be Draymond Green or Giannis or something, I mean, you can tell that story forever.
Draymond Green, that's the example.
Well, Draymond Green, it was an example of someone who... He was a second rounder who ended up as an all-star, a champion at least anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. I just like that's the first player, like, you know, really well-known stars like Giannis, Draymond.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to think of, all right, undrafted. How about Fred VanVleet then?
Fred VanVleet. Yeah. Okay. That's a little bit better. Yeah, no, that's fine. No, Draymond's great, man. No, I appreciate what you're saying about Draymond kind of coming out of nowhere for sure. So yeah, first take on this is it's cool. I don't think we expected it.
No.
Like suddenly something so quick. When earlier today, Jacob said that there was more blogs coming. So I don't think we expected it to be this. We thought maybe I thought it was going to be like, all right, here's playoff common drop number 4 on Monday or something like that. Like I thought it was going to be something more that we expected. So this is unexpected. It's really cool. It's clear now they've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes beyond that finals experience.
And with Quavo as well, that's dropped and taken over the website.
Is it?
Quavo.
Okay.
I pronounce it wrong. People are on me.
Man, I didn't even know who that was. And I know that might make me a bad basketball fan, but every time I would watch like the All-Star celebrity games that he was in, I'd watch and be like, I don't know who that is. Like, it was one of those things, like, when you watch like some kind of celebrity gathering and there's people, like for my case, I'm like, oh, Justin Bieber, Drake, like I know who that, Beyonce, like I know who that is. But then that guy would show up and be like, I don't know who that is. And just for years, I was like, I don't know who that guy is. And then yesterday this happened and everybody just tore me apart. People thought I was joking. People thought I was joking. I didn't know who that was. And then I listened to some of the music and I was like, I've never heard any of this music in my life. Let's see.
I get that all the time. I hadn't heard of him. Well, I had heard of him. Don't know much about him, heard his music, but like, I don't really make that connections. I don't spend my time like massively in music or whatever else. So yeah, I'm with you. I wasn't like massively across it. So I'll make you feel better there. But it's interesting that using 3-star rookies for this.
Yeah. So, I kind of had an inkling of that. Well, not of this specifically, but there was a point, maybe I'd say about 2 months ago, where they had released a ton more 3-star rookies. And I kind of went down the list and I was like, okay, this is interesting. Clearly trying to make this a thing. And they are going to be quite unique, not only in the fact that, it's kind of the first real class of 3-star rookies in Series 2, because there's only one 3-star rookie in Series 1. It's RJ Barrett. So there's only one rookie from Series 1 they captured in this first game. So this is the first like full class of Series 2 of rookies. Yep. But also, kind of to your point, where you're saying about Draymond, I was like, okay, well, one of these guys could become the Fred or the Draymond, or whoever, whatever other guys went undrafted or went drafted deep in the second round. I kind of had the inkling of that of more as like a collector, like I don't know, like Jalen Smith or one of those guys. I'm like, okay, what if one of these guys becomes an all-star? Right. Then it'll be that moment will go up in value and I'll be happy to have it. So I started like maybe a month ago as the market was down. I started to kind of grab a few of these here and there. So I don't know how many I have. I don't have all of them, but I was trying to get one of each for a while. So
I don't know how many I have. I said to you just online that I bought Nico Mannion, and even at $35, it felt dirty. And that was just to complete the Golden State Warriors set. And then I think he ballooned to $55. And I thought, okay, maybe I did do okay there. Now I'm thinking, okay, yeah, I did all right there. But not that I'm expecting to go to the NBA draft from Australia. Hopefully some people who can make it can go more than me. But I've got your tweet up here anyway, so I don't have to do any work.
Yeah.
2 tickets, dinner with draft prospects.
That's to shorten the information. I have to fit everything into the tweet. So there's tons of stuff missing from this tweet. It's just the important, what I consider. And I take
all responsibility for spelling mistakes or distraction errors in this tweet, because we were talking shit offline. The snapshot happened. The deadline is like in, I don't even know how long, because in my tomorrow, time, the deadline is in 2 hours.
It's in, so for me, no, hold on. So it's tomorrow. It's in 29 hours. No, 31 hours from now.
And you have to fill out the Google form in the blog
to opt in.
Enter.
Are they going to see this before that? Then is this going to come out when they have time to do stuff?
This will go up tonight. So tomorrow your time.
Okay, great. Yeah. So yeah, no, this is kind of curious. And anyways, what I was saying about the 3-star rookies is that I didn't think that they would get used in this way. So this is almost, I find it interesting because it's I get it. It's like, okay, I guess it's a reward for people who I guess like rookies or who have invested in rookies. So I guess it's to reward people who are, because essentially if you're buying, like you're saying about the Nico moment, is that like the reason you felt dirty is because for all you know, that guy will never play in the NBA again. Right. So you just like, you feel kind of dirty that you're like, I might buy this guy that becomes a total unknown dude. And that's where it's a little bit more of like a bet. Whereas if you spend like $40 on a LeBron or something like that, then it's like a shirt. It's like it's more of like an assured bet. It's only going to go down if the market goes down. But putting money on like this obscure prospect is risky. So I guess this is to reward people who have invested in these risky prospects or just bought a bunch of LaMelos.
But also the people that are advocates for badges. There are a lot of them out there. And I think the reason it felt dirty for me is because I watch a lot of Warriors games and I enjoyed a lot of their fringe players like Jordan Poole and Toscano Anderson. But Nico Mannion, he basically comes on for garbage time. So
I know.
when he got a moment, I was just like, it's just I don't really like this guy, but I need to complete this set and all the steps I've got stacked. But yeah, no other reason. But there are a lot of badge advocates out there and a lot of people that want more utility out of badges, or at least more something out of badges. So I guess this gives them a win as well.
That's actually a really good point. And we were talking about this in the live show just yesterday about, we were talking about the market fluctuations and how the market usually tanks once something actually happens that people have been anticipating, right? So in the case of the other day, it was like, oh, the Bucks have won. You know, you would assume that the Bucks market would surge, but 24 hours later, it had tanked again. Right. And how the biggest example of that was the badge like apocalypse at the end of March, where for months, everybody had all these secret lists of like, here's who's getting what badge, blah, blah, blah. And then the day they came out, it was like, the badges are here. And then some people were like, I don't like the badges. And the next day, the badge market just cratered because people had anticipated it too much. So I don't know where I was going with that, but this is now like, okay, now we see maybe what the plan was for some of these badges is that, you know, this would be, they were going to use them to kind of divide up different classes of collectors.
Well, I guess the point is they can reward segments. So they could reward teams. They could reward a certain badge. They could reward a certain set. They can segment so much. And I guess this was just a small example of that. But yeah, you're right. The value, I think, is embedded in a lot of things now because challenges are anticipated, there's roadmaps, and then when they happen, people are holding for the utility, and then the utility is having the opposite effect it used to have, which is more value. They're selling the value, which is undercutting, which is lessing it and no one. So yeah, it's interesting the shift there. But anyway, so we know you from the First Mint podcast. It was like the first content I guess I was listening to and the first podcast I found when I got into Top Shot way back in January. What was the motivation to start the podcast? Because that probably feels like 10 years ago now in Top Shot time.
Man, I don't know if anybody's ever actually asked me that. So, okay, so here's the real story. If you want the real story, this is a good exclusive. I wanted to do a fantasy game. I just wanted to do something in the community because through the off season last year, which was only 2 months long, Top Shot was like dead. Like I went and looked through CryptoSlam the other day. There was a day like November 12th or something like that where there was like 30 transactions or something on Top Shot. Like it was dead, like nothing. And as the new season started, like, you know, I was connecting with some of the other guys and, you know, it was a small community then and the new season was starting. I was like, we should do something fun for the new season. And back then you could just walk into Discord and tag like Uzman and Uzman would respond like in like 2 minutes and be like, hey, what's up? And that would just be like in the general chat. Like that was just in the normal chat. You would just have a normal conversation. Like it wasn't nuts. And you know, I hit him up and I was like, hey, is anybody organizing any kind of like just fun fantasy pools or anything with Top Shot moments? Is that happening? And then he introduced me to Swish, Theo at Swish. I don't know if you remember Swish, but that was the kind of the original Top Shot fantasy game where he'd already built this whole UI of fantasy. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, well, this guy's already doing it. So I was like, listen, dude, if I can help you at all, let me know. But like, looks like you already got the system down. And I had already in the background, I had already written out this whole system of like, all right, everybody puts in these moments and you bet a moment and you're in this pool and all this shit happens. And then I saw he had his thing and I was like, all right, forget it. Like this guy's already figured it out. It works really well. Mine's going to be really crappy. I'll do something else. And then it was Christmas and it was like, you know, coming up to New Year. And I was like, what else should I do? And I was like, okay, cool. Like I'll start a podcast. Like there's no actual podcast. There's only like 400 people here and few of them are even active. So like, cool. Like, you know, MBL is going to listen to it. And I don't know, whoever else, like, I don't even like AG maybe, you know, like whoever else I spoke to. And I was kind of an obscure community member. Like I didn't chat that much. I'm not a big chat person in Discord. I wasn't back then. I was like, I'll start this podcast. And I kind of told Uzman, I was like, dude, I'm going to do this like kind of Top Shot community radio type thing. And he was like, all right. He's like, that sounds great. And then I was like, should I do it? I don't know. And then one night I just freaked out. I was like, I got to do this now if I'm going to do it. And I drove to Best Buy. I bought this like whatever microphone. I found like the quietest spot I could in the house and recorded. And it took me just hours to get it down. It took me hours to write it. It just took so long. You know how much effort it takes to make good content. And you know that it takes a while to find your groove, or it becomes kind of easy, and the first couple times are painful. It takes so long.
Oh yeah.
So you understand that part. So you can understand that it just took me forever to get this down. And then I put it out there and I was like, Usman, look, I made a podcast, and I sent it around, and a few people were like, this is great. I'm going to listen later. And it had, 200 listens. I was like, wow, holy shit. Like, people really like this. That's great. And then I put out another episode, and then by like episode 4, I'd started the Twitter account, and it was the kind of thing where I was waking up. One day I woke up and there was like 5 DMs from people being like, I don't understand what a legendary is, or just like really basic Top Shot questions. Cause there's no content. This is January. There's no content about Top Shot. Like, there's nothing to explain things to you other than old blogs. And, I'm there, I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm there responding every day and trying to record another podcast. And then it's like, one day is like 5 DMs, and the next day is like 10. And then like suddenly it's like 10 every couple hours. And then it's at the point where it's like hundreds at one point per day of people be like, please help me. And then which was great. And then I would just take all that content, all those questions, I just put them into the podcast. So I have like kind of the FAQ kind of question in the podcast. And I guess the rest is history, because then everybody was listening to the podcast. But honestly started, man, I was like, I love Top Shot so much. And there wasn't as much a love-hate relationship back then with Top Shot. It was all just like, hey, this new NFT thing, it's really fun. And I just wanted to do something fun that people would enjoy. And, the initial feedback I got on the podcast in the early days was enough for me to keep doing it. And then I got some great advice along the way. Jack Settleman reached out early and said, you should be doing a podcast every day. And I did that for a week, and I almost died trying to do it. So I stopped. But people really love that. That was like back when people would like, there was no content. So I kind of just started out of like passion. I just wanted to do something in the community. And turns out the podcast kind of, hit the right nerve.
That's awesome. Some of that was very similar to my story. It was just one day I was like, I've got to do this. And then like, it was a terrible video. The first one's like the worst.
That's always the worst.
I think I looked back at it the other day. It was under a different name. I talked different. It was funny. Anyway, very, very similar to my own. But yeah, it's fun. All right. That was a really good story. I want to dovetail that onto something. Tell us something that no one else in your community knows about you. Tell us something that we don't already know from the LG Doucet.
Related to Top Shot, actually, this is a story I used to tell, but maybe people don't remember now, is that I sold a few LaMelo triple badge rookies at like $25. So that's a good story. I think like something people know. I don't know if that's the kind of thing you're looking for, but just want to throw that out there. Which then, as you may remember, that moment climbed to like $4,000 at its peak.
We've all got scars.
So we've all got, scars kind of going both ways in the market. Something people don't know about me, I don't know. I feel like I post some stuff on Twitter. I have a motorcycle. That's cool, I guess. People like motorcycles. People think it's dangerous, so that's kind of cool. So I do that. I enjoy foraging for fruit. I live in British Columbia, Canada. So it's on the West Coast, it's a very lush place. And Vancouver, I used to live in Vancouver. Now I live a couple hours away from Vancouver, but it's the kind of place where there's like plum trees and apple trees and fig trees kind of all over the place, and nobody picks from them. So the last couple of years in the fall, I would literally go around like at night with a ladder and like pick just tons of fruit from the neighborhood. So that's a thing that maybe people wouldn't expect from me. A couple of years ago, I picked a quince tree. I don't know if you know what a quince is. It's kind of like this giant rock hard apple thing that you have to like boil down because you can't eat it. But it's this really like fragrant, crazy kind of aphrodisiac style fruit. So I enjoy nature. Maybe people don't know that. I don't know.
Nice. So we know you from the podcast. Recently, you launched your own NFT. That's awesome. Tell me about like the motivation and the vision behind your specific NFT.
So what's funny is that the NFT, as much as it seems like it was kind of like, thought of, amongst the sea of NFTs coming out, that was actually an idea I had at the end of January, because I've been kind of studying NFTs for a while. So I knew what was going on. And I wanted to kind of offer this like membership NFT right off the bat. Like I just wanted to kind of have, everybody was starting to make their Discords. I was like, no, I want to have like our own kind of like little society of like the most hardcore people. So naturally, I wanted to drop an NFT. But then so much more happened along the way between that initial idea at the end of January and the actual drop that's why it kind of took a while. And I was really adamant on letting people buy that with with credit card, which is not easy to do. If you go to a lot of these, avatar drops, you can only buy with Ethereum, but I wanted a lot of people in Top Shot that aren't comfortable with that yet. So I want to give them the opportunity. So it took a little longer than I had hoped. Basically, the NFT for us is that, like, I really feel like with the First Mint and with Top Shot, we're on to something obviously really exciting. I see a big future for myself in this space. There's a lot I want to do in NFTs beyond just doing podcasts. And I feel like a lot of people are aligned with that. They see what I see, or they want to see it through my eyes. And we've gotten such tremendous feedback from the community on what we're doing that I think if you kind of follow the model of what, like, basically what the creator economy has become, right? And you're experiencing that, making all your great videos, or anybody who's creating on Twitch, or anybody who does like their own little like kind of creator Kickstarters, anything like that. We wanted to give the opportunity for like an extra layer of access to the people who really believe in what we're doing the most. And it's not to say the people who didn't buy one don't believe in us, but there's always, like, in any kind of world of fandom, there's always gonna be some people who are really hardcore. They want just as much as of the brand and of the creator as you can give them. So we wanted to give those people that opportunity, and that's why we only made 500. Is that we didn't want this to be this 20,000 people fill a stadium kind of thing. It was like, no, like there's a couple hundred people out there who want to be there with us every day, and we want to take them with us as we go. We called it the day one, like for its actual like literal meaning, or the way that people use that, man. Like if you think of big celebrities, like who are their day ones? Like it's the people that were there at the start, the people that supported them when they were unknown. And we've got big dreams, big plans for the First Mint, and I wanted those people who want to come for that ride, we wanted them to be like at the front row of that. So those people get first access to like literally everything that's going on in our Discord now. Even a lot of it just being a lot of kind of like fun, goofy stuff. It's, they're having fun getting just a bit more of the brand and a bit more of myself and Phil and the rest of the crew there. So
it's a lot more than just the NFT itself, isn't it? It's community, utility, and involvement, access.
That's it. Yeah. And this, I don't mean what I'm going to say to sound pompous or too cocky, but what I'm saying, I've always told people, especially through the boom in winter, I went on a lot of podcasts because people didn't know what NFTs were. I was one of the only, they were like, here, we'll get this expert from Top Shot, he's going to come tell us what's going on. And I would go on and people were like, I don't understand why you would collect this NFT from like an athlete or an artist. And I explained to them, like, the analogy I use for them is, I was like, listen, like everybody's been to some crummy little music show at some tavern of your friend's show, and you're one of the only like 9 people there, right? And you go to your friend's show and it costs like $10. And then over time, your friend gets a little bit bigger, their band grows, there's 50 people and so on. If those artists could give people, an NFT at those first shows, and then one day that band becomes like a Coldplay or something like that, how much would that NFT be? And could then that big band always reward the people who were there at the start, right? Yeah. And I really believe in that concept, and I think that NFTs kind of unlock that traceability of fandom. So I don't think First Mint is going to become Coldplay. That's not what I mean. I just mean, like, I always want to be able to trace back no matter what happens to us. And I'm sure a lot's going to happen in the First Mint over the next couple of years as this world changes, as the NFTs grow and Top Shot grows, and we cover other projects or whatever we're doing. I always want us to be able to trace back to the people who really believed in what we were doing from the start before we started doing all this other stuff.
Yeah, it's an interesting point in that as well, in that we sort of said that, like, January, I only started this in March. You started in January. That's only like half a year ago, and it feels like 2 years ago. And Top Shot always say that this is like a lifetime project, let alone other NFTs. Like, can you, what do you imagine, like, we're going to be looking at in 1, 2, 3 years time? Like, it's just ridiculous to think about, really.
I made recently a scale of adoption for NFTs. And basically that starts right now at like the awareness level of like collecting 1 or 2 NFTs, moving on to like some of the basic utility, which is like gating a community, or, receiving concert tickets or Top Shot Suite tickets. And then moving on from there into like a DAO, like a decentralized autonomous organization, which is basically where the members of the community vote on what the community does. and which has been done in a lot of DeFi communities. And then everything from there to like a tokenized lifestyle where we're using USDC as our primary currency, or ETH or something else like that. And I think in the next couple years, we need more applications like Top Shot to come along, like big ones that can bring in masses of people, where it doesn't have to necessarily result in 1 million people being these like crypto freaks. But what Top Shot did is, let's say, 500,000 people created Top Shot accounts. And then from that, 5% of them have now gone on to collect other NFTs. And then out of that 5%, 20% are now creating their own NFTs and developing their own applications. Then that's good. We need more Top Shots to kind of just bring in that whole mass of people into the space to become creators in the space, which is the only way it's going to grow. So I don't know what the next couple of years look like, but I hope we get more Top Shots. Like, I hope we have more of these massive applications that normal people want to use and see the value in. Because they're sure as hell not going to learn it. Like, people aren't going to get onto like how great NFTs can be and what they can unlock in terms of our lifestyle by, buying the latest, 10,000 alligators with funny hats or whatever it is. Like, that's not what's going to unlock. That's not what's going to unlock. I just made that up, but if I told you that was an NFT, you'd believe me.
I would believe you.
Like, of course, the alligators hats.
I've got crazy drawings probably in my sketchbook from when I was 10. I think I had beer monkeys at one stage. I thought that'd be a good NFT. Let's make some beer monkeys. I'm not even kidding.
Dude, Steve, I'm telling you, man, you should do it. People would support you. You'd sell out, man, for sure.
When I was younger, right, I used to make 3D animations. I swear to God, I made the Minions movie before the Minions movie. I had these little yellow blobs. They look like blobs, actually. They look like blob mobs. They actually do. And, they were just shooting each other with guns and flying, skydiving, gunfights, like all sorts of stupid stuff.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so I should bring the blobs back and the beer monkeys and sell them as NFTs and put little basketballs in their hands. And like you said, you'd believe it.
Dude, anything goes right now. So you should do it, man. You should totally do it. Anyways, I don't know where the space is going to be, but I hope First Mint can kind of be at the not the leading edge, but kind of, at the front of that line in terms of explaining this to people and showing them what this world's all about and how they can adopt it and what the tools are, and just get as many people in as we can.
That's a good summary, actually. So we've got to talk about this, the First Mint Fest, which for me is a no-brainer in terms of anyone who watches my stuff needs to be registering for this. Give us the spiel. What's happening with First Mint Fest? How did it come about? And some of the draws that we got here, because it's really cool.
Okay. So the really basic pitch, especially where this is coming from. Thank you. I appreciate that. Listen, when I started learning about NFTs, I read all these blogs, I watched all these videos, and I learned a lot. But then as soon as I started joining communities, that's when everything clicked. You learn so much faster that way, right? Yeah. And in a way, it's so much more fun being part of a community. We experienced that in Top Shot. We're able to pick apart the information, ask all the stupid questions together. So what we want to do with First Mint, starting with this and into the future, is create experiences where that can happen. And so think about this almost more like a South by Southwest, which I know you've never been to America. I've never been to that festival. It is basically this half tech conference, half kind of cool music festival. It's more like that than it is some kind of trade show. This is over time, First Mint Fest, as it evolves, because this won't be the only one, is going to be more of a party of NFTs where you can come be immersed, find new communities, find new creators, find new projects. So First Mint Fest right now, we've got a awesome list of sponsors that are coming to it. Obviously, the primary sponsor is Dapper Labs Top Shot. As soon as I kind of approached them with this, they were very happy to support the idea, which is basically to introduce all the people who are in Top Shot, which I consider to be the NFT curious audience, people that maybe own Top Shot but still haven't ventured into the rest of the world of NFTs. They don't yet have the tools to buy the little yellow blobs fighting each other. We want those people to come and see some of the friendly faces of people that are building some of the great projects, that are building the next Top Shots, or the projects that are concurrent with Top Shot. So I'll give you an idea of what some of those projects are. So we just announced them the other day. We've got quite a few projects coming from Animoca Brands, which I consider to be basically the Asian version of Dapper Labs. They've got MotoGP, Formula One. Both of those projects bound together by a token called Rev, which is on Ethereum, which is just a currency called the Rev Racing token, which kind of binds together all these different racing NFTs. We've got Limpo, which is also these kind of like athlete NFTs. We've got Enway Play, which is dropping Olympic pins right now. They did a drop this morning, and they're dropping more stuff through the Olympics, so they're going to be there. As well as the Sandbox. Sandbox being like one of the really cool like digital metaverses that's selling land that's going to be online soon. Where it's pretty much like a NFT Minecraft where you can sell your plot of land to other people and build stuff. So that's just one company that's going to be there. Zed Run is going to be there. The horses that everybody loves, they're going to be there talking about their product and kind of giving stuff away. We've got Sturdy Exchange, which is a really exciting project that's launching on Flow. There's quite a few Flow projects actually, so it's a really nice showcase.
Yeah.
Big reason Dapper wanted to be part of it is, it's a great opportunity for them to kind of talk about, or for some of their, everyone who's building on Flow to kind of talk about all the stuff that's coming out on Flow, MotoGP being one of those projects. That and just tons of other really cool projects, platforms, marketplaces, and just some really interesting people. So we're going to have a few panels there about, what makes a great NFT. What do you do with NFTs? Like some of that really basic 101 stuff that I think is really going to fill the hole for a lot of people. And then at the same time, it's a first mint event, so it's going to be fun. We're going to create probably one of the funnest parts is we're actually creating a Discord called Festival HQ that is only going to exist during the festival. So it's like literally we're building it right now. And on the last night of the festival, I haven't really explained this to anybody, but or our team. So I don't know if this is approved, but I'm going to decide it anyways. Like on the last night of the festival, once everything's wrapped up, I want to delete the Discord. Like I want the Discord, I want to just delete it like a real festival. Like the next day, everything's gone. Like you clean everything up, put it in the trash, and then the field is clear, right? So that's going to be this experience. We're just going to have this Discord for a couple of days. Everything's going to be online, streamed on Twitch, and it's free. That's the most important part. It's free. I think that learning about NFTs, all that, I think it should be 100% free. But there's going to be a lot of goodies for everybody who shows up as well. So,
and you've also got the interview with Rowan.
Yes, exactly. So the keynote, every good conference starts with a great keynote from a well-known speaker. In this case, it is a live in-person interview between myself and Rohan. So he and I are going to be together because he's also on the West Coast in Vancouver. He and I are going to be together in person, chatting face to face. And that is going to be pretty good. And at the end,
have you met him or no?
No, I've never spoken to him. So this is gonna be the first time I actually see him. So that's gonna be pretty wild. I've actually also never met a single person from Top Shot in real life, right? Like this has all happened during the pandemic in the winter. So that's what I mean though. It's like even my brother I do the show with, I haven't seen him during this whole time. Like he lives in Toronto, man. Like that is a 5-hour flight away. Like I haven't seen him in person during this whole First Mint thing. So Rohan will actually be the first person I ever meet from Top Shot in real life, which is pretty insane. And we just announced last night, Steve, so I don't know if you caught this, but the end of the festival is going to conclude with, I got to get the name right because it's a long one, but it's really good. The unofficial NBA Top Shot Collector's Choice Awards, which is going to be put on by the First Mint, Packrit Media, and Moment Nerd, where basically in the run-up to the show, we're going to have 10 different categories with 5 nominations in each one, where people who love Top Shot are going to vote on the best moments in a bunch of different categories, like best dunk, best playoff moment, best certified baller, all that is going to be kind of the culmination of the festival on the final night, where we have an award show to crown those moments, crown those achievements.
That's a good idea, actually. I love that idea of having awards for moments community voted. That's really cool,
dude. That's the time to finally settle the debate. Like when Top Shot started, I was like, oh, okay, we can finally decide which of these moments are the best ones. But now you have the marketplace. I was kind of hoping the marketplace to decide that, but now the marketplace does it based on scarcity or whatever. So this is like no, forget all that. Literally, who out of both Series 1 and Series 2, which one's the best dunk? What is actually the best dunk on Top Shot? And people are going to vote. So, and we're going to use the Moment Nerd, system to vote, similar to Shot or Not. So
that was the closest thing anywhere near.
Yeah, exactly. So Moment Nerd, fantastic when he started rolling that stuff out, honestly. So very excited to have him on board, and then Packrit obviously going to be a huge part of that as well. So look forward to that at the end of the fest. So we're going to have this kind of like it's like an NFT festival where the sandwich bread is basically like Top Shotty stuff. So it's like the interview with me and Rohan to start, and then it ends with like the fun party at the end. So definitely register. Lots of info coming via email for anybody who's registered, and get in there.
Yeah, no, it's a no-brainer. And with all of that going on, and especially like a lot of Top Shot people have been onboarded into NFTs through Top Shot and have started to venture out. So it seems like the perfect platform to broaden your horizon as well to, just see what else is out there. Like you mentioned the horses, you mentioned heaps of other stuff being built on Flow. So much going on. So much value to be had as well, and fun by the sounds of it.
Oh yeah.
So I haven't quite nailed this on yet, but I wanted to throw something at you that you always do on your podcast, just to potentially annoy you, or at least put you on the spot.
Yes.
You know the game. It's would you rather. Oh, I haven't got a good one. I know half of it. I need to give you a good one and a bad one. I know the bad one. What in real life utility would you love, like as a chop shotter? Give me that first.
Going to games, absolutely. Going to games, 100% is what I want to do.
Okay, all right, cool. And what's your prized moment that you have on Top Shot? I would say
I'm gonna say there's so many good ones that I have, Steve. I'm gonna say that my prized one is the Zion rookie debut challenge reward. That I was like the first moment that I truly like earned. I felt, Okay. So that was like I invested so much into. I was like, oh, this rookie set, it's gonna have this Zion thing, and I was like, Zion, I love Zion. So that was the first time I like really splurged on Top Shot, and that was like in like September, and I was like, what am I doing? Like this is nuts to do this. So having that, and I pulled the number like 41 serial. And, after it came out, it was only worth like $500, which, now it went to way more. But anyway, so that's it. That's the one.
All right. Okay. So would you rather a number 1 Zion or front row seats next to Drake at a Toronto Raptors game, but to get access to that in real life utility, and you get to meet the players as well, but to have access to that real life utility, you had to have stacked 100 Aaron Baines Toronto moments?
I'll take the experience. I'll stack some Aaron Baines, man. It was terrible on the team this year, but I'll stack it.
He was terrible.
Totally. He was so well. The other thing too is that the team was like set up for like the last 2 years of like this Gasol Ibaka like duo up the middle with like a Chris Boucher coming in with like these spark plug like games, and then it was like, okay, they're gone now. The 2 veteran guys are gone. Boucher's still there, but he's got way more minutes than he can handle. And guess what? We got Aaron Baines. And we got Aaron Baines. And everybody on the team is used to playing with like Gasol, who's like such a good floor spacer, who plays the game so well. And then Ibaka, who just comes in with like way more energy than anybody like has on the floor. And then it's the whole team's ready for that. And then it's like, all right, we got Aaron Baines. Just put him in the system. And it's like, it didn't work. It didn't work to have him there.
I will support Aaron Baines and the Twitter account, the Aaron Baines fan club, for a laugh. But that situation didn't suit him. But anyway, mate, thanks for coming on this channel. I won't keep you all day. You probably got tweets to write and value to add somewhere else. But definitely register for the First Mint Fest. It's going to be fun. And thanks for spending time with me.
Steve, you're a legend, man. Thanks for having me on.
To keep getting valuable NBA Top Shot content, subscribe to the Ballers blockchain wherever you're listening and on YouTube. See ya!